beautiful. Well, welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Opera, a global theatrical art form that dates back to the classical era and times of Handel, Mozart, Verdi and Puccini, is not just restricted to European and American opera houses, but is also performed in African concert halls. Francesca Chiejina, a Nigerian-American soprano who kicked off her musical interest by playing the violin and piano at the MUSON Centre in Lagos, is today a rising global performer in the world of opera. Francesca is a graduate of music and drama of the University of Michigan and of the Jette Parker Young Artist Program at the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, London. Her roles have included Countess Ceprano in Rigoletto, Lady in Waiting in Macbeth, Voice from Heaven in Don Carlo, and Ines in Il Trovatore. Francesca is the daughter of Anthony Chiejina, a media professional and Group Chief Corporate Communication Officer at Dangote Group. She is currently in Nigeria, where she'll be performing in Lagos and Abuja, and is here to take us through her journey in the world of opera. Good morning, Francesca, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you again.
Yes, you too.
Well, let's start from the Nigerian side of it.
Yes.
You are home to
I'm
perform
home, finally.
Here in Nigeria. Do you want to tell us about that Nigerian program? Because I'd like to see you, go on a tour of Nigeria. And what are your expectations in terms of, the average popular African attitude or Nigerian attitude towards opera?
Well, to start off, I will be performing on the 28th of November with the Abuja Opera Society. They're putting on Les Miserables, and they're going to put a Nigerian spin on it. And I have a small role in that. And then I go back to my musical roots, where everything started for me at the MUSON Centre. On the 5th and 6th of December, I'll do a string of concerts, at least I'll participate in them. And most importantly for me, on the 30th, Tuesday, of November, I'm giving a masterclass to a handful of students. And this is really, really important for me because every step of the way on my journey, I was encouraged. And the path of an artist is arduous, long, and filled with a lot of rejection. So I think if I can give back what was given to me, this encouragement to the students there, my work is done.
Well, are you working in collaboration with any group? I know you mentioned the Abuja Opera Society. Mm-hmm. But are there others involved, who are like your partners or producers?
I was invited by the opera company, and I get to meet them tomorrow, so I'll meet my colleagues then.
Right, I have so many questions. First of all, what role are you playing in Les Mis? Let's start there.
Okay, well, because I couldn't be here for rehearsals, I'm going to do a little performance with Agatha, another Nigerian soprano, at the intermission. So we're going to do some operatic excerpts in between the scenes.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. So tell us about your early life and what drew you to classical music.
From when I was about 7 or 8, my dad put me in piano and violin lessons at the MUSON Centre. And I think that's where it kicked off for me. And like I said earlier, I've just been encouraged to keep going every step of the way. And I don't know, 23 years later, here we are. And I'm at this point in my life, in my career, I'm hoping to give some of that back.
So I'm hearing 5th and 6th of December. Aren't you going to do any Christmas shows for us? I mean, because somebody would have loved to see, those Christmas shows, those Christmas operas and the likes. I mean, is it just 5th and 6th and you're leaving? And I'm sure a lot of people out there want to get the tickets at the MUSON Centre, you know, to that. How can they get the tickets and all of that?
Well, actually, the 5th of December is a Christmas show.
Okay. So it's coming early?
Yes,
not
coming
the late
early.
dates.
And the 6th of December is more of a general classical music donors appreciation concert for the donors who keep MUSON running. And I'm sure there's going to be more. I'm very open to sing and be home after 3.5 years of being away due to the pandemic and things of the nature. So I'm very open to just perform. And
I'd just like to ask you, I saw, I mean, your great performance there at the BBC Proms. That's about one of the biggest stage in the world you can ever get when it comes to opera. I mean, and it was at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yes.
Good on you. I mean, what's the experience like doing it at the very big stage?
I mean, thankfully, that performance you saw was my 3rd time at the BBC Proms. So by that 3rd experience, I wasn't so nervous. My first experience at the BBC Proms was 2016, and that was a terrifying experience. But the energy at the Proms is so electric and wild that you just can't do anything but just give it your all. So it's like the perfect stage, despite its vastness.
Well, you're having a master class here in Nigeria, and I could see you are very excited about that. But you've been, you know, part of master classes in other parts of the world. But this one is at home.
Yes.
And the home part of it, I guess, is very important to you. How important is it to you? And how, you know, does a master class in Nigeria compare to some of those master classes that you've been to elsewhere?
Thank you. I mean, as you said, like, I've been lucky, very lucky to take part in some of these incredible master classes at Carnegie Hall, at the Guildhall School. And I understand I am a young singer and I have limited experience, but I feel like in the 7 to 10 years or so I've been in this, I can give something back. These kids who are at the MUSON Centre have a 2-year program, and I think that's quite a limited amount of experience. And in the day or two I have with them, I'm hoping to give what I know and what it takes to really prepare to be in this career. It's not the easiest career to be in. Lots of sacrifice, like I said, lots of rejection. And I just want to arm them with what I know and prepare them for what's ahead.
What have the hindrances been? You've talked about some challenges, the rejection, the sacrifice, but do you feel like being a woman of color, for example, has it helped you or hindered you in any way? Because obviously we have black opera divas, to name a few. Which one is your favorite? If there's any of those ones are your role models?
I feel like the 3 I go back to often are Shirley Verrett, Jessie Norman, who's recently passed, and Leontine Price, who's still with us.
The diva.
Yes. I'm sure there have been some hindrances, but the way I've been going in this career, I try not to focus on that. If people reject me because of my color, I kind of tend to buckle down and do the work, and that has been speaking for itself so far, so that's the plan. And it's this kind of thing I want to pass on, being prepared, being excellent, and giving no one the reason to tell you no.
I have to ask you as well, because I read in the intro, Lady Macbeth, Rigoletto. Are you drawn to Verdi particularly?
I mean, I was told earlier in my career, when I first started in undergrad, that that's where the voice would go. So at its peak, that's where my voice will go, to Verdi. So I got quite a lucky start with that at the Royal Opera House. And if my development goes well and my stars continue to align, hopefully...
Which they will.
Yes. Yeah. I'll be singing some of those leading ladies in the Verdi roles.
All right. So for me, 2 things. Number 1, telling the African story through opera is something that's really been passionate about. I mean, it can be done because, I mean, when you look at great operas around the world, you know, from songs like Luciano Pavarotti's La Donna Immobile and some other songs like that, they're pretty much stories.
Yeah.
Carmen, Georges Bizet's Carmen, you know, they're pretty much stories. And Africa is rich with those stories. I mean, how can we start to incorporate opera into telling African stories? I mean, that'll be one. And secondly, can you take us through the discipline that you have to go through as an opera singer? Because that's one part a lot of people don't talk about, and it takes a lot of discipline.
It takes a lot of discipline, lots of sacrifice. To talk about the first part of that question, it's the idea of the Nigerian classical musician is not new. There's actually Nigerian names, going all the way back to the 20s and 30s at prestigious institutions like Juilliard, the Guildhall School, my alma mater, and the Royal Academy. So there is music out there. I think it's just going to have to take people like myself who have a platform and other African musicians and even others outside of the community to take this music out there. The music is out there. And that's one of my goals, actually, to take advantage of the MUSON library and just see what's out there. And I'll sing it in recitals, and hopefully people take notice and will love it as much as I do.
The discipline part.
The discipline part. You kind of have to live kind of what you call it, a very almost holy kind of lifestyle. No drinking, no partying, no yelling, going to sleep at the right time, lots and lots of hours of study of the music and the scores, learning several languages, learning to communicate in several languages effectively, stagecraft, emotional intelligence to survive, all the rejection that will come your way. There's so much, and I'm hoping from the little I've learned, I can pass on the buds of that to the students at MUSON.
Well, thank you very much, Francesca, for joining us. We wish you all the best, as you give back in your own country, your place of birth, right?
Yes.
Yeah, your land of birth. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We wish you well.